Welcome to beautiful Santa Barbara, California, one of the most breathtaking cities in the world. A place of stunning sights, perfect weather year-round, wonderful food, gorgeous women, sunshine, palm trees, and an overall relaxing feeling. Unfortunately for Santa Barbara, like many other California cities, there are other parts of town that aren't always so welcoming. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today's video is a more serious video. Yesterday I did a video on Santa Barbara, the history. Mainly I did my neighborhood, the West Side. And there was some feedback, but there was one person, and it's a white guy that used to live in Santa Barbara, went to school at the City College, which is right at the bottom of the West Side, right on the beach. And he asked me about a few things. And then he asked me about the Robert Simpson case. And initially I didn't want to discuss it, but then I thought about it. And in my mind, this is a modern day Beauty and the Beast story. The case occurred in 2010. I believe it was April 2010. I was incarcerated, but I heard about the case. The case has been adjudicated. The appeal process has been exhausted. The case is public record, but it gives me the opportunity to talk about it with you. So, Santa Barbara, you see, I showed you in the beginning how beautiful our city is. How peaceful our city is. But there's a reality, and it's not as bad as it used to be. But within the east side and the west side of Santa Barbara, there's struggle. There's drug addiction. There's gangbanging. There are broken homes. There's a lot of the stuff that the rest of Santa Barbara doesn't think about. And this story is, I'm gonna let you tell me in the comments when I tell you this story. The beauty is the city. Who is the beast in the story? So in 2010, there were two individuals from the West Side Gang. And they were at the beach. They were at Henry's Beach. It's called Henry's Beach. Arroyo Burro is the real name of the beach. So the locals, obviously, they're going to call it Henry's Beach. There was a crew there that called themselves the Sand Pit. And it was a group of older white males. And they would hang out on the beach and have beers, enjoy the beauty of the city, enjoy the beauty of the beach, and have a great time. Well, on this day, two West Siders decided to pull up and hang out on Henry's Beach. They were with a couple girls, and they were doing whatever they were doing. The pit crew were doing whatever they were doing. During the day, they had exchanged some pleasantries. There were no negative interactions between the two groups, any of the individuals involved. Then at one point, Adrian Robles got up to use the restroom. And I believe one of the females went with him. As Adrian was trying to exit the bathroom, he was blocked by Robert Simpson and other members of the pit crew. They decided for whatever reason that they were not going to allow Adrian Robles to leave the bathroom. So the female that was with Adrian at the bathroom area called out to the other West Sider by the name of Rudy Gallegos. The Gallegos family is a big family, well-known family on the west side of Santa Barbara. They're well-known throughout the city of Santa Barbara, especially my age, my generation. They're known to be guys that like to fight. And so when the girl yelled out to Rudy, Rudy went over, and by all accounts, initially, he was able to calm the situation. And as they were walking away, Robert Simpson allegedly decided to call Rudy Gallegos a bitch. As a West Sider, he's not going to be able to tolerate that. He can't. There has to be some kind of reaction to that. And so Rudy and Robert engage in a fist fight, or what was supposed to be a fist fight. According to witnesses, Rudy landed one punch, and then Robert was able to knock him down, take him to the ground, and pummel him. I've heard different stories, but I don't know which branch of the military Mr. Simpson was from, but he was a military vet. I've heard Marines, I've heard Navy SEAL, but he had military training. He was an experienced military veteran, and he beat Rudy Gallegos up. After the fight, when they got up and they were parting ways, allegedly, according to court documents and newspaper accounts, Adrian stabbed Robert in the throat, severing his carotid artery and killing him. So you had Robert Simpson and his friends corner a gang member. What reason? Who knows? You have a second gang member go over there and allegedly try to quell the situation. Then you have Robert Simpson disrespect one of the gang members as he's walking away, then beat him up. And then you have Adrian step in to assist his homeboy. And in the process of assisting his homeboy, he allegedly kills Robert Simpson. So Adrian was helping his friend that had already been beaten up by Robert Simpson. And after Robert Simpson was stabbed, he fell to the ground. There were nurses in their party, I believe. There were nurses on scene. And they immediately tried to administer first aid. But because the carotid artery was severed, it was only a matter of minutes before Mr. Simpson passed away. During the commotion of them trying to render assistance, first aid, the West Siders fled the scene. According to Rudy, he didn't know about the stabbing part. And according to him, Adrian showed him the knife. And that's when Rudy asked to be let out of the car that they were getting away in. And then Rudy, the hardcore gang member that he was, called his mother to pick him up. So Adrian went into hiding. The women went home. There were over 60 witnesses that gave statements that described the West Siders. And Rudy Gallegos was questioned. Guess what he had to say, people? Rudy Gallegos, big bad West Side gang member. He cooperated with authorities. His friend that stepped in for him so he wouldn't have to get his ass whooped again. He's doing a life sentence in the California Department of Corrections because Rudy decided that he was only a part-time gangster. Rudy told the authorities that cooperating with them could lead to some very bad things happening to him. But he prayed on it. And it was the right thing to do for him because he had prayed on it. Because he had received some kind of spiritual awakening. And he cooperated with authorities. He didn't do any time. And here we are, nearly 15 years later. And Adrian is still incarcerated. Should he be incarcerated? That's for you guys to decide. Who is the beast here in this story? The beauty, again, this is a Beauty and the Beast story in my mind. The beauty being Santa Barbara. Who is the beast? Is it Adrian? Or is it Rudy? What possessed Mr. Simpson to corner a gang member? Then to call out that gang member friend? I don't know. Those that were there may have an idea, at least part of the pit crew. But it's a horrible situation. It seems as though, from all accounts, Robert Simpson started the entire incident. All the violence that occurred was in reaction or response to his words or his decisions. But is Adrian going to get a second look because of that? Like the Menendez brothers, for an example? No. I don't know how Adrian is doing his time. I can imagine. I can only imagine. You know, when we get arrested, we're still in that mindset of it's everybody else's fault. Adrian had a decision to make that day, and he made the decision. Did he deserve a first-degree murder conviction? I'm all about personal accountability and personal responsibility. And in my eyes, that is not a first-degree murder case. But it's Santa Barbara. They don't play out here. This is another glimpse, man, into the lifestyle, into the obligations, and into what really happens. I've talked over and over and over and over again about, during my incarceration, how many cellies of mine, how many homies on the yard that I spoke to who told me that they were doing life or they were doing a whole long stretch of time because of their own homeboys flipping. If you think the criminal world is fascinating, if you think prison is fascinating, just know that's a big part of it. Look at how many people are getting killed left and right. Those are the only ones that aren't surviving the attacks. There's many more that survived the attack. And it's always going to be 9 times out of 10. I can't say always. It's going to be 9 times out of 10. Your own homeboy pushing that knife into you. Very rarely is it going to be another faction or a rival. No. It's going to be the one that you are supposed to be willing to sacrifice and die for. And you will be. That's my video for today, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out of here.